This is your Balkan boy, Boyan Yakovich.
This is Andrew Beast Tyson.
And this is Thicc Boy Fight Club. And people ask me, what is Thicc Boy Fight Club? How did Thicc Boy Fight Club start?
To be honest with you, it was just kind of like a big joke that we used to make after training. Like, we were known for always posting our training videos and our food, and it was just kind of like a big joke. And to be honest with you, we've been doing really amazing with these hoodies. Thanks to all you guys, but it was actually everybody else's idea how far we ended up taking this. People said we should do an Instagram page. We did an Instagram page. You should make a logo. We did a logo. Like, it was always somebody else's idea. Even this podcast, we gotta give a shout out to our girl Fallon. And I guess because that's how it came together, that's why it's been so successful, is, it organically came from people wanting these things. And now, our next goal is to kind of highlight things like, restaurants locally, to support people.
Yeah, we want to support local fighters because with everything going on, there's not a lot of opportunities for fighters right now to compete professionally or as an amateur. We want to support local restaurants because of everything that's been going on. There's so many places that we love to eat at that we want to make sure are still around. And there's plenty of places that we used to eat at that are gone forever. So I think it's now more important than ever. And, we really want to promote this Thicc Boy lifestyle. It's
like,
how would you want to say this?
So I've been in the fitness industry for a long time, but mostly on the martial arts side. My theory has always been you should be more worried about how you feel than how you look, right? And I feel like too many people aren't enjoying themselves outside of the gym because they're so worried about the aesthetics. And I always say this, I'd rather torture myself in the gym than at the dinner table.
Yeah, because we want to, it's a celebration. Exercise is a celebration of what your body can do and not what it looks like. And it shouldn't be a punishment for what you ate.
Yeah, and and this isn't to knock any other types of fitness. That's not even close to what we're here to do. But, I do believe that it is easier to do a martial art for that extra 30 minutes while you're tired than it is maybe run on a treadmill or do something a little more mechanical. I think when you incorporate the mental side of fitness, you're able to push yourself a little further. And I think there's tons of people I know who started martial arts in their 40s who can attest to this kind of change of perspective once they started. And I also think that's why you're able to eat a little differently when you train like a fighter, like the calories you burn. You're able to push yourself a little more when you're doing something you love. And it doesn't have to be martial arts. Like, my idea is finish me doing something you can finally enjoy. Pick up basketball, something like that's when you're able to kind of eat whatever you want because you push yourself a little more when you're incorporating some type of mental aspect. And that's kind of how this whole ideology came together.
Yeah, we want everybody to, if you want to join the Thicc gang and the Thicc Boy movement, to join this type of lifestyle where you're training hard and then you're able to eat what you want and, getting behind a healthy lifestyle and the proper nutrition. And these are the things we want to promote.
Yeah, and people are giving us a lot of jokes, especially because he's such a little guy. Like, he fights 125, walks around maybe $150 when he's at his thickest. And people are always making jokes like, "Oh, you guys aren't even thick," but they're missing the point. It's not even about that. It's about the mentality, right? Like, it literally is like a mentality. Like, people.
Yeah, it's for the inner factor, Thicc Boy and all of us.
Yeah, only people who question that are people who don't know us. Like, everyone who knows us knows we eat like we are 200 pounds. Like, we hang around bigger athletes who look at us confused when we go to places, and especially this guy, right? So it's literally the idea. It's like the thick boy in you or thick girl, right? Like, you don't actually have to be a thick person. And we want this to be positive in that way, right? Like, you don't have to look a certain way. It's a mentality.
Yeah, it's being body positive because it's better how you feel than what you look like. And, especially now with everything going on, focusing on your health and the way you feel mentally and physically is very important. And that's why, especially we want to promote martial arts because we think it offers all of those things. It gives you, not only do you learn self-defense and you get in shape, but it gives you that whole community and that energy that will keep you healthy mentally, spiritually, physically. It'll keep you engaged, and we hope more people join this type of life.
Yeah, and most people look at us and oh, you guys are fighters, but the majority of people who do martial arts aren't fighters, and that's something that especially now with you see these new lockdowns and everything, you're realizing a lot of business will tell you it's the general community who's just looking to be healthy that keeps this afloat. I don't think a lot of people realize that some of your favorite fighters in the world wouldn't be where they were if they weren't in a gym that had, a successful base. So many places I ever trained at, we were only open, the lights were only on because of general fitness people who just wanted to learn a martial art. Like, and as I'm older now, I really realize that, you know, fighters don't make money until they make money, right? And majority of fighters will never make money. So every gym you've ever trained at as a fighter, like chances are it was a lot of people who weren't fighters that helped support that. And we kind of want to remind people of that in the community and try to give back. Like, we want to start doing virtual workouts for you guys, give you guys things you can do at home. You know, give you guys ideas and ways to kind of keep this going while obviously you're not able to train the way you usually would. You know what I mean?
You know, and we can see the support. We want to thank everyone for the support. We're getting love all over the place. We're, you know, getting orders for sweaters in Brunei and Sweden,
Ireland, all over the United States.
So Alberta, for some reason, we got mad love from Alberta.
I don't know who's a fan of us in Alberta, but that you guys are showing us more love. It's like they always say it's like the Texas of Canada, and like we've had offers to go to the gym. They say they have the best steak. So whoever in Alberta is showing us all this
so
stuff.
we hope to connect with people through this, and hope people connect with us with this Thicc Boy movement. And we're very thankful for this platform. Thank you to Fallon. This was her idea to do this podcast, and we see this now as we want to get you Thicc gang members out here to promote you and for you guys to get your ideas across. I think, you know, being fighters, we're exposed to a lot of people that are experts in very specific fields. So we want to get the top nutritionists here, the top technical coaches, the top people in fitness and in strength and conditioning. You know, there's so many people we want to shout out. So we're just excited to get this thing started.
Yeah, and like, you know, that's another reason like this started, is because we would post stuff and we get questions like, oh, how do you eat like that and stay so fit? And, you know, and I can tell you right now, it's not just a genetic thing or just because you're a fighter. It literally is a change in mindset. Like, it's the idea that like, if you find something you can enjoy doing in the gym, you will do it longer, you'll work harder, and you won't think about, you know, you won't be looking at the clock.
Train hard, take easy.
Yeah, literally. And like, you know, we also want to help people with ways they can get through these lockdowns with virtual workouts. Like, I'm doing a virtual program for some schools right now. We want to get, you know, Neil Ewers from Beat the Streets. These are the type of people that give some of you fitness people ideas, give people at home with kids ideas. Like, because we now realize that's the only way all of us are going to be able to stay connected is by doing these type of things, right? So we want to have a platform for that.
Yeah, give guys like, we want to give a shout out to Beard's Bites, Matt Special, you know, a nutrition expert that can show you, you know, the balance of things and how you can eat healthy and right, and then still have, you know, space to still eat extra calories and have a cheat meal here and there.
Guys like Adam Blackler, who, in my opinion, shaped my life from functional patterns training over at Anatomy 6. Like, you know, this idea that, you know, there's a lot of things you can do that you don't need this traditional gym. I feel like a lot of people are worried about what's happening because they, you know, they're so used to doing fitness a certain way. We want to show you, hey, there's still options, right? Even if you're just in a living room. Like, we're doing a virtual program where we're training kids literally in their living room. And someone was saying some of their best workouts. And so, like I said, we just want to create a platform for this type of thing. And, you know, just keep promoting these restaurants. Like, and you guys have no idea how far it goes tagging your favorite restaurant. Like, the amount of times we've gotten DMs from restaurants saying, so thank you. You know, Ramen Zaman is probably our home base.
Yeah, big shout out to Ramen Zaman. It's some of the best Syrian food ever.
We've had the owner literally say, like, oh, we've had people come in here just from saying they've seen it on your post. Like, you know, if you guys are out ordering out, which I guess is what everyone's doing, you know, tag your restaurant. You'd be surprised how many people start.
Yeah, tag us in your stories, tag your restaurants, and support these local restaurants. You know, they need the support now more than ever.
Yeah, we don't care if we're associated with them. Like, and just know all these hoodies that we're selling, everything is going directly back to local restaurants. Yeah,
all the proceeds we make, we used to eat at local spots. You guys have our word on that.
Yeah. So when you're asking me how can I afford it, it's from the hoodie sales. So if you want to keep seeing these fire bills, like it's literally true. Like, I've started to feel obligated to like keep eating at new good restaurants, and like I said, because of the success of the stuff we're doing, we have boxing gloves coming in. Like, these are all organic ideas that people are giving to us, and that's why they're working out when we put them out. And so
we're excited to promote all the martial arts that we love, that we feel like make a difference in our lives and can make a difference in your lives. You know, like from it doesn't matter what you take up, from wrestling, boxing, Muay Thai, Jiu-Jitsu. These are things that are going to make a huge lifestyle impact on you for the better, mentally, physically, and you're going to have a better a better social life, being able to train hard like this and think easy.
Yeah, and like obviously we know these are obviously our goals, but because we're fighters, we obviously intend on talking about a lot of fights, keep them informed with that type of stuff. Like this weekend, for instance, there was a big fight with Ryan Garcia. What was your opinion on his fight with
Man, that was what a beautiful body shot. I'm sure our boxing coach Delgado loved that.
Ralph Delgado, yeah, he's the biggest Ryan Garcia fan now.
It's so nice how he committed to that and the way he made it look like he was going to the head. And to land that body shot after he got dropped. And moments before that, the opponent landed a very good body shot. So
he was an Olympic gold medalist, Luke Campbell.
So very impressive performance. Probably the best performance of his career. You could tell he was definitely feeling himself because of the call-outs he was making.
Yeah, Gervonta Davis. Which this is actually a perfect conversation. So after Gervonta Davis had the knockout of the year, Leo Santa Cruz.
He changed that man's life.
Like I said, if you don't know what I'm talking about, go Google that. If you want to start getting into these type of things, we will start giving you things for you guys to watch. But another perfect example of a guy that came about thick and easy. So they said he got almost to 175 and dropped to 135 for that fight.
Yeah.
Right? So, a lot of people are talking about whether or not he's the conditioning for a fight against Ryan Garcia. Like, what do you think is going to happen to him? Because I think Gervonta's going to. Yeah, that same left hand, I think, would kill Ryan Garcia.
Yeah, that same overhand left landed from Davis. Oh my God.
It'd be ridiculous, right?
You'd end him, yeah.
So, you're...
Garcia fans are going to have a rude awakening. Sorry.
Yeah, I totally agree. And maybe Gervonta Davis fans will have a rude awakening. But, to that point, though, and this is something that's been brought up already, what do you think the way Gervonta blows up in weight will have an effect long term? He's young right now, but as a fighter...
Andre Ward used to have those disciplines, but blowing up so big after fights. It's definitely not healthy for, your thyroid and your metabolism. But he's still in his prime and he can still do it. I don't think it's going to make that much of a difference.
Have you ever had that big of a wake up?
I mean, I've had some pretty, not that much, but I mean, I've had, for a small guy, I've cut from 45 to 225 in a matter of a few days. Yeah, so to make 125, in 2019 I had 3 fights where I had to make 125 for all of them, and my body after the 3 weight cuts, it blew up to the heaviest I've ever been, just because you're messing with your hormones when you're cutting weight like that. Yeah,
the most I've ever gotten was about 175 or so to cut to 45, and it was brutal. And I was a huge 145 or so.
You're also not doing it the smartest way, so I'm excited to have guys like Matt Special.
Yeah, it shows us how to do it.
That can give everybody game and some tips on using nutrition to lose the weight gradually and then cut less weight.
So do you think that'll have an effect on because this is a conversation we have a lot about, how much should you be thick easy? Or we don't want people to get it wrong. You can take the thick easy part too far, just like you can take the training part too far, right? But do you think that'll play a factor if he's not able to keep his weight in check and has to do a big weight cut? Do you think that'll eventually catch up to him?
Eventually, yeah. I think eventually that catches up to everybody. I mean, you can only do that. It's like you can only do that so many times, I think.
Yeah, because then obviously you can go up a weight class. But
just like you have so many wars in you, you have so many weight cuts.
Terrible weight cuts.
And you have so many times you can get knocked out. There's a finite number, I think, to those things.
Well, yeah, and it's that is probably the most exciting division in boxing right now.
Boxing is more exciting now than
any time in my lifetime. Lomachenko, Teofimo Lopez, Gervonta Davis, Ryan Garcia,
heavyweight divisions is fantastic.
Canelo's still Canelo. Terrence Crawford.
And then you got Mayweather coming back for circus fights.
Okay, so
which everybody's gonna tune in to watch. And as fighters, we have our opinions about it, but to be honest, that's gonna be big.
Yeah, so I know there's a lot.
That'd be bigger than Conor.
Yeah, so I know there's a lot of people who want to hear us maybe talk more about this boxing league, but for the general public, I think everybody listening to this, at least you know who Mayweather is or you know who Logan Paul is, right? I recently learned more about the Paul brothers after what his little brother did to Nate Robinson, which was just devastating. And that should be another sign to people who are athletes, let that Jake Paul, Nate Robinson thing be a sign. Respect what we do, right? By far, Nate Robinson is a better athlete. He was a 2-sport division athlete in the NBA, won a dunk competition at 5'8", and he learned the hard way that fighting is not a sport. You don't play boxing. And So what do you think about Jake Paul's older brother Logan Paul fighting Floyd Mayweather? What's your
I
first
wonder what the
thought?
actual size difference is. I mean, I don't think it'll matter, but
It's a huge.
it's a size.
It's about 50 pounds.
That's a lot. I mean, that's a lot. Let's see how that goes. I mean, but Mayweather's so skillful. I mean, how can you? It's kind of almost obvious who's gonna win that exhibition match. But
well, like, this is another thing, a perfect example I'm talking about how a lot of fighters, because of what's happening, if they don't have the right promoter, they're kind of been screwed. Floyd Mayweather's rich, fine, right? But the fact that he found a way, and this time more than ever, views for Logan Paul, Jake Paul, that Mike Tyson thing, all organically happened because of what's happening to sports. Like,
yeah,
Mike Tyson always admitted that if it wasn't for the pandemic, we probably wouldn't put that together, right? Like,
yeah.
Sports have been kind of stagnant, and so I'm hearing that Floyd Mayweather's going to get $6 million and 50% of the pay-per-view.
Oh, what a payday!
To fight you know what I mean? And think about how many guys who are, fighters could have maybe, Conor McGregor now is being called up by his little brother. They say that his brother offered Conor McGregor $50 million to fight him. And these YouTuber guys, man, you got to give it to them. Like, they clearly are.
And that's like good bait. Like, as a professional fighter, why wouldn't you want to go fight a guy who's not a professional
They
fighter?
are clearly finding a way to use this to their advantage. This virtual world where everyone's stuck on front of the screen. Like, this is almost twice as much as what he's going to make for his actual fight. He's fighting in a couple weeks. And it's like, it's crazy to think that this is the direction of sports. But like, I know people say they're not going to watch it. But if these lockdowns are still going, what are you doing on a Saturday night? Floyd Mayweather
we've been doing Thicc Boy Fight Night almost every Saturday.
Yeah, so
thank you to the UFC. I mean, wow.
Yeah, like, what else are you going to be doing? And, I don't know as much about Logan Paul, but numbers are numbers. If you look at his YouTube, his podcast, his Instagram, like, the fact that he was able to use that to get him into the sports world like this, like, it is a new day, clearly. And, like, it's I'm going to watch it. I think it is a little bit of a disrespect to the sport. I can't lie. But, like, as just a regular person, I cannot wait to see this happen because,
of course,
like,
you're gonna.
it's a spectacle.
Yeah, of course you're gonna watch a spectacle. I mean,
yeah, and like, this guy was a state champion wrestler in Ohio. A lot of people don't realize he was a very high level wrestler, a high level athlete. That's a huge weight difference.
It's like spectacle, almost bringing it back to the fight game. We can give a shout out to Full Metal Dojo and the things that they've been doing.
Oh yeah, from Thailand.
And our guy Steve Banks, the game member Steve Banks, he's fighting there soon. Bare knuckle fight. They've been putting all kinds of ridiculous spectacles together that are fight related. And I mean, who wouldn't want to tune in to see that? They had a kicking only fight. They had a 3 versus 1 fight. They had
it's been crazy. And like you said, the UFC, Dana White, like, I personally, they put a lot of pressure on the NBA and those teams to come back because a lot of people were against what he was doing, and their tune has changed completely. It was one of the biggest years for the UFC. Like,
Fight Island is a historic moment.
Dana White's another example of a guy who, if you have the right mindset, if you're positive, you can pivot correctly. You know what I mean? Like, I don't know, I can't think of a better example, period, than Dana White and what he did with the UFC because
this whole lockdown is showing, these lockdowns are showing who's able to adapt in any circumstances in life because it is a big change for everybody. So, how are you adapting and striving?
And this is another thing I always want to get across is be careful what kind of content you're taking in, man. Like, take more content in of the, it doesn't necessarily have to be us, but take in more positive content because, like,
it's part of the diet.
Yeah, man.
It's part of the diet. What you consume, it's not just what you eat. And, shout out to Kenya Water, what you drink. but it's what you consume.
Yeah, like, we're not going to get into any opinions about this whole what's going on. But one thing that's clear is there's some people who months ago had a more positive outlook and were maybe criticized who year end, they don't look so crazy. A lot of people had a lot of negative things to say about Dana White when he decided to do what he's doing. The sports world has been very quiet since. And they actually have been, the same people criticizing him are now only relevant because of it. A lot of podcasts wouldn't be relevant without what the UFC did. And these are the same people who are criticizing him. So if you believe that you can do something positive in this, stay with the positive people, man. Don't let the negative,
which is, I'm glad that Thicc Boy Fight Club came through organically. It wouldn't even be here if it wasn't really for the lockdowns. We had the privilege of being able to still train hard together during these times, and we were eating at the restaurants that were still open, And that's how this kind of came about, you know. So
yeah, we took a stance that our physical health and mental health was important to us.
The most important to us.
You know, that was just our stance. You know, forget all the other politics, but that was just our stance. And like I said, if you look at a lot of the people who have that positive energy, very few of them are wrong. Like I said, there's a whole bunch of people who their podcast would be irrelevant this year if it wasn't for what Dana White did, and they were criticizing him. So I know my Saturdays during this lockdown were 10 times better having those fight nights. That's another reason this came together, because every Saturday I was stuck hanging out with this guy watching fights because there was nothing else to do.
Yeah, it was just
eating and watching fights.
So,
and like I said, it turned out to be a positive thing. So that's another thing I want to get across. Take more positive content in, not just your food and diet, like more positive content, because like you'll be amazed the type of ideas you can come up with and what it can lead you to. You know what I mean? Our girl Fallon, like, I wish you guys could see how
nice you guys should see this nice studio that she's got for
she had a certain mentality that a lot of people in the industry probably didn't have, and you know, she's better off for it in 2021, right? So take more of that positive content, because there's too much negativity in social.
We want to get that Thicc Boy energy across and get you guys on a positive.
Yeah, follow our page. You'll see nothing but funny stuff that'll make you laugh, good food, like all positive content. That's all you want. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Well, our girl's giving us the cue. So, you know, next episode will be a little more informative. We plan on having a guest on. You know, this is just the inaugural one. And really just a thank you to a lot of you guys.
Yeah.
We have a contest coming up that we're going to do, giving away some hoodies. Like I said, we just want to give back because this has gone very well. And I know my 2020 lockdown was way better because of this whole thing and you guys' support. So
thank you very much, guys. We hope you guys join the Thicc gang, and you'll see us again on episode 2 of Thicc Boy Fight Club.